On a dawn in the season of harmattan, the river gave Umasu back. She rose through the surface the way she had descended quietly, without announcement, without ceremony. The village was still sleeping. The birds were just beginning. And Umasu stood on the bank with river water running off her plaits, and she breathed the air of the land, and she thought, I kept my word. I am home. She was different, not broken completed. She had spent the equivalent of a year in a place where the oldest truths in the world were simply facts. She had learnt what the river remembered. She had seen what it kept. She had given it what it was owed, and in exchange, it had given her something no bargain had included: understanding. The specific understanding of someone who has been shown how things actually work beneath the surface of the world. Chidi ran to her from the compound gate. He had grown slightly in the year she had been gone. The small evidence of time passing on the people you love while you are away. She held him for a long time. She did not tell him what she had done. Some things a sister carries alone. Some prices are paid quietly, so the person they were paid for never has to know the weight of them. Adaeze's secret did not stay buried. The river held it permanent, witnessed, unremovable. And what the river holds eventually surfaces, not always in the way you expect, not always through a dramatic confrontation. Sometimes truth simply becomes known. The way things that have been in the water too long eventually wash up on the bank. By the end of that week, the village knew what Adaeze had done, not because Umasu told them, because the river told them, in its own way, in its own time. Umasu went back to the river bank that afternoon, not to bargain, not to call anything, just to stand at the edge of the water and be in the presence of the thing that had changed her. The river moved the way it always moved, and somewhere in the sound of it, she thought she heard something, not her mother's voice, not the goddess, something older than both, something that sounded like well done. Namdi found her there. He sat beside her without speaking for a long time. Then he said, I told you not to go. She said, I know. He said, I was wrong to tell you that. She said, you were afraid for me. He said, I am still afraid for you. She said, that is love, old man. He said nothing, but he stayed. The village never fully knew what Umasu had done. Villages rarely know the full cost of the things that keep them. They know the surface, the girl who disappeared for a year and came back, the curse that broke, the woman whose secret the water revealed. They know the story they can see. Umasu knew the story beneath it. And she carried it the way her mother had carried her own river story, quietly, fully, without expecting to be understood, because some things are between a person and the water never tells. Her name was Umasu. She bargained with the river goddess at 17 years old and kept her word and came home, changed, and never told a soul the full truth of it, except for an old man who sat beside her at the riverbank one afternoon and said nothing and stayed. And the river ran on, the way rivers always run, remembering everything, keeping everything, owing nothing, and owing everything. That is the end of Umasu's story. If it stayed with you, subscribe to Moonlight Tales by Joy for more stories just like this one. New stories every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Like this video. Share it with someone who grew up near a river and understood what this story was really about. And tell me in the comments what was your favorite moment across all 6 episodes. I read every single one. The next story is already waiting.